This is your moment of life with Marcus Gill. Get ready to be encouraged, uplifted, inspired and pushed into your place of unlimited greatness. Every day of your life is a day of victory.
Hey, Marcus Gill here. So glad that you decided to listen to part 2 of my new podcast series called Single, Dating, and Preparing for the Best. I know that you're preparing for God's best, and that's why I'm giving you these powerful, powerful tips to help you recognize if you're with the right one or if it's time for you to run away because you're with the wrong one. Hear me loud and clear. Don't be fooled by the costume, all right? Don't be fooled by the costume. What am I talking about, the costume? It's something I teach about called the costume effect. It's when you meet somebody and they are perfectly perfect. They're everything that you've ever dreamed for and imagined. But it's not really who they are. It's their costume. Even when you look at the word costume, a costume is just simply clothes that are worn by someone such as an actor or an actress who's trying to look like a different person or a different thing. All right? It's an appearance that's not real. It's an illusion. You can almost say if somebody fools you with their costume personality, they're running a magic trick on you because it's not real. It's an impression of who they think you want them to be. And there's so many people that get caught in the wrong relationship because we fall in love with the costume. We don't fall in love with who that person really is because they don't even give you an opportunity to find out who they really are, because they show up on the first date, costume. They stay in that costume for weeks. And you end up falling in love with your dream man or your dream woman, all to find out after you finally make that lifetime commitment to them that costume has to eventually come off. I've been there, done that, experienced it, and I'm telling you one thing right now. It is not an exciting experience to find out that the person that you thought you fell in love with was only wearing a mask. They had a costume on the whole time. Listen to me, my friend. God gives us a gift called discernment, where the Spirit of the Lord will reveal things to you in advance to show you if a person is really who they say they are. You see, God doesn't want his children to be caught up in false hope and false love and false relationships. Some people, they know how to speak the right language. They'll say all of the right words. They'll perfect even their posture because they feel like that's the type of posture you wish for them to have. I was in a relationship. Matter of fact, I was even married to somebody who did the right things during the dating process, spoke the right words, came to church with me, supported my God-given dreams, sang the way that I thought that, my wife or my future mate was supposed to sing, was kind to my family, was very friendly to my friends and people that I consider to be the most important people in my life. What was this? This was the costume being worn. These are the actions that a man or a woman will take just to lure you in. They'll be all that they know you want them to be. All for you to get so caught up and so wrapped up in the costume, thinking that it's really them. You marry them, and then they'll still wear the costume for a little while longer. Here's the good news, but the bad news according to the experience. The good news is that the costume has to eventually come off. The bad news is that now you're stuck with who this person really is. Underneath that costume is evil, jealousy, hatred for you, your family, your God-given gifts, and your God-given dreams. Under that costume could be the inability for them to even appreciate the gift and the anointing on your life. Underneath that costume was laziness, lying, deceitfulness, a cheater, one who really doesn't care to be loyal and honest with you at all times. You were fooled by the costume. It's almost like when you watch a movie. You see that actor or that actress, and they play that role. Maybe it's your favorite superhero. I love watching Batman, but I know that Batman isn't really Batman. After the producer or the movie director says cut, the gentleman who's playing the role of Batman takes off that mask, takes off that uniform, pulls off that cape, and they go back to being who they really are. Here's my tip to you. Don't fall in love with the movie scene. Fall in love with the credits, because it's not until the credits show up on the screen that you get to see who they really are. You get to see the actor's name, and you get to see the role that they played. Too many of us fall in love with the role and don't fall in love with the true personality. So if you're single, you're dating, you're engaged, make sure that you take time to find out, is this person really who they say they are? Or are they just wearing a costume to impress me, a costume to entertain me, because eventually that costume must come off. It has to come off. It's like you go to a football game or a sports game and you see the mascot of that team. They're wearing that costume, but every now and then you see them disappear. Where have they gone? To take a break? Yes. They got to pull that costume off for a while, because after a while that thing gets hot. Why? Because they're wearing something that's not really who they are. It gets hot. It gets uncomfortable. And people can only be fake but for so long. After a while, their true self comes out. After a while, their true background and their history comes out. And don't let anybody tell you that a person's history is not important. You need to know who that person was before you showed up. You need to know what they were involved in, who they were around, what kind of life they lived. Because folks can try to cover up their past all they want, but it will eventually come up. And it's important. So here's my tip to you today on this part 2 podcast of this series. Don't fall in love with their costume. Find out their real character. Find out who they really are. And as God reveals to you, listen to the Lord. Don't ignore God when He shows you that this person is wearing a costume and that they're being fake. Don't try so hard to look deep into their potential and change who they are. Hear the voice of the Lord and be obedient. God is trying to tell you something. Don't fall in love with the costume. Find out who they really are and let God lead you, because His best is being prepared for you right now.
This has been your Moment of Life with Marcus Gill. Thank you for your prayers and support. Go to 𝘾𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙢𝙚 for more information and to find out how you too can become a partner of this ministry. You can also make plans to meet Marcus at an event in a city near you. Be sure to stay connected with Marcus Gill online through Facebook at Pastor Marcus Gill. You can also opt in to receive encouraging text messages from Marcus by texting MGILL to 71441 on your cell phone.